Hi, everyone. Hope everybody is home and safe and comfortable, and we're glad that you are. But we are also glad that you're tuning in today to our teaser reading of All Your Twisted Secrets by local author Diana Urban. And she was planning to launch tonight. We really wished that we could have made this happen. She's a great friend of the store, and every debut author deserves to have a really great launch, and it really is such awful timing for a book to start. So we really want to support Diana, and we hope that you will too. We're offering this book for 20% off this month, so you can check out the link in our bio, which will send you to this book that you can purchase. And Diana's going to be doing her own virtual launch event tonight. You can go over to Twitter to check that out. It's going to be at 7 p.m. tonight, as if it was the real event. And she's going to be doing a sort of Ask Me Anything on Twitter. So again, 7 p.m. and she's at Diana Urban. So we hope you'll check that out. And for now, I'm going to give a little teaser reading from the first chapter of All Your Twisted Secrets, Diana Urban. All right. I shook the water from my jacket in front of the post podium. Beyond, crimson velvet booths lined either side of the dimly lit room, and a bar stretched across the opposite wall. A pyramid of wine and liquor bottles towered behind the bar, light streaming out between them to create a halo effect. Classical music flitted from speakers dotting the ceiling above the tables. Empty tables. The room was deserted. "Are you sure this thing's at the Chesterfield?" Robbie asked from behind me. "Yeah, look." I pointed to a sign taped to the host podium. Brewster Town Hall Scholarship Event in the Winona Room. An arrow pointed to the right. "This way." "Where the hell is everyone?" My heart fluttered as I stepped further into the room. "Probably in the Winona Room where they're supposed to be." "No, I mean everybody else." "Come on, let's go. Let's get this over with." I grabbed Robbie's calloused hand and led him across the empty dining room. A familiar throaty laugh floated through an open doorway next to the bar. I walked in to find a smaller but equally elegant room. A long mahogany dining table stood over an intricate red oriental rug, which covered most of the gleaming, almost black hardwood floor. Since most of the room was underground, there were only two small windows nestled close to the ceiling. Matching mahogany sideboards spanned the walls, under the windows, and next to the door. Two china cabinets filled with glasses and trinkets sandwiched a red brick fireplace on the left, reflected in a giant brass mirror hanging on the opposite wall. Faux candles flickered in a brass chandelier hanging low from the center of the ceiling. The room felt medieval and positively claustrophobic. Sasha Harris and Diego Martin were already seated, laughing over some joke that must have had nothing to do with her perpetual need to one-up him. Robbie coughed, and Sasha paused mid-chuckle, peeking around the back of her chair. Spotting me, her eyes lit up. "Hey, lady!" She zipped around her chair and stretched out her cheek, kissing the air on either side of my face. "Thank God you guys won this too. Otherwise tonight would be such a drag," she said under her breath. Sasha was everything everyone else wanted to be. Cheer captain, drama club director, class president, and potential valedictorian. Sleep wasn't exactly in her vocabulary. In a bizarre twist of fate, she also happened to be my best friend at the moment. Tonight she wore a form-fitting, strapless red dress, and her shining chestnut hair flowed in loose waves over her bare shoulders, not a single strand out of place. "Getting to meet the mayor is kind of cool, though," I said. "Is he here yet?" She released Robbie from a hug. "No, not yet. But he's the opposite of cool, just FYI. I mean, come on. Who grows up wanting to be the mayor of Podunk?" I shrugged off my damp jacket, hung it on the ornate coat rack next to the door, and smoothed back my bangs. The curls I'd coaxed into my hair already fell limp. Damn rain. Ick, it's like an oven in here. Ugh, I know. Sasha flapped her hand like a fan. Come on, you're next to me. She pointed to the seat closest to the door. 8 high-backed chairs surrounded the table, 3 on each side and 1 on either end. On my empty, gold-rimmed plate sat a place card for Ms. Prescott. Hers had one for Ms. Harris. Fancy. I pulled out my tall chair and glanced across the table, locking eyes with Diego. Oh, here we go. Strands of black hair fell over his forehead, and as he held my gaze with his intense copper eyes, a smile slid onto his lips. Hi, Amber. My mind flashed back to a few weeks ago, when those eyes were mere inches from mine. Let's face it, you could pretty much fry an egg on my face. Hi. The word came out like a breathy wisp of wind. I set my purse on the floor and sat, silently cursing myself for being so obvious. After all, nothing ever happened between us. It almost did a few weeks ago. But almost doesn't count. Congratulations, he said. Let me guess. You won because of your music? I laughed nervously, fidgeting with the music note charms on my new bracelet. Yeah, Mr. Torrenti must have nominated me. I mean, I basically have been teaching his orchestra class for the last 4 years, I rambled. Oh, God. If Robbie caught wind of the weirdness between me and Diego, tonight would be a nightmare. I faked a cough and covered my mouth, trying to hide my flaming cheeks. Thankfully, Robbie was oblivious as he fiddled with his phone next to the coat rack, shaking his head. Can you believe they'd give Diego one of the scholarships? Sasha whispered when Diego pulled out his phone. $20,000 must be chump change to him now. As if being ridiculously smart wasn't enough, Diego was sort of a celebrity in our school. He'd invented a weird sponge that changed colors when it got wet and was on the show Bid or Bust, a reality TV show where inventors try to win funding from wealthy entrepreneurs, the summer before our freshman year. After getting bids from all of the investors and securing a deal, he and his dad sold millions of sponge clowns. Well, he's probably going to be valedictorian, I whispered back. Sasha tilted her head and grinned, though there was fire in her eyes. Not if I have anything to say about it. I can't get a signal in here. Robbie took his seat next to me, unbuttoning the top button of his plaid shirt. Is it just me, or is it like 90 degrees? I took my water and took a small sip. Yeah, it's hot. Ugh, Sasha groaned, and I followed her gaze over my shoulder. Priya Gupta walked in, scanned the room, and visibly cringed. Saying that Priya used to be my best friend was an understatement. She'd been like a sister to me. She avoided my gaze now, casting her doe eyes to the floor as she hung her jacket and tugged down the loose sleeves of her white boho dress. When Robbie greeted her, she merely grunted in reply. Grief settled on my chest like a pile of stones, but I remained silent as Priya took her seat next to Diego. They muttered their hellos, and she busied herself examining her fingernails. Hi, Priya, Sasha said in a sing-song voice. Priya's jaw set in a rigid line. Hi. I smiled at her, but she wouldn't look at me. My throat constricted. Would she ever talk to me again? Didn't she know how much I missed her? Congratulations! I had no idea you qualified for a scholarship, said Sasha. Priya was no valedictorian, but her grades were stellar. Priya quirked her eyebrow. Oh, you mean you cared who else would win? Sasha's smile faltered. What's that supposed to... I elbowed Sasha. Leave it. She scrunched her eyebrows at me. You don't want the scholarship people to hear you fighting? Sasha nodded, and Priya made a psh noise and went back to scrutinizing her fingernails. Diego met my gaze again, and my insides pooled into a puddle around my feet. Just then, Robbie reached for my hand under the table, and I jolted. He laughed. Didn't mean to scare you. His hand was cool despite the warmth of the room, and he kissed my cheek as Diego watched. Oh, God, how was I going to get through this night? I'm starving, said Priya, fishing through her purse. Ugh, I forgot to bring a granola bar. Diego grabbed his backpack from the floor. I have a candy bar somewhere in here. Want it? She waved him off. No, it's fine. Thanks, though. As she eyed the ornate silver platters dotting the table, Scott Coleman, stoner extraordinaire, loped into the room. He wore his standard outfit, black leather jacket over black t-shirt and torn jeans, topped off with a black beanie. Sasha gaped. "What are you doing here?" "Same as the rest of you, methinks," said Scott. He grinned at Priya, who offered a shy smile in return. "No way, man," Robbie scrunched his nose. Scott reeked of cigarette smoke. "You want a scholarship?" Scott tugged the collar of his leather jacket. "Seems so." "Bullshit," said Robbie, and Sasha clucked her tongue. Wow, nobody was going to get along tonight, were they? "Guys, be nice," I said, trying to lighten the mood. "Maybe he's a closet genius." Scott winked at me. "Hey, Red, what's shakin'?" "Bacon." This had been our customary greeting ever since we used to play together as kids, before we realized how little we had in common. He nodded approvingly as he extracted a folded letter from his pocket. "I got this letter. It said to come here. So here I am." "But how do you qualify?" said Sasha, smiling sweetly. "Do you have some secret talent you've been hiding from us?" "Nope." Scott shrugged and moseyed along the table. "But who the hell cares?" He plopped in the empty seat next to Priya and unwrapped a stick of gum. 20K is 20K. Besides, I had no plans tonight, and I like free food, so no rind off my orange. Sasha cringed. "That's not an expression." The massive oak door behind me slammed shut with such a force it reverberated through my chest, and the glasses in the china cabinets rattled. Everyone jumped, and a few people gasped. "Wind tunnel?" I scooted my chair back and stood to open the door as thunder clapped outside. "Oh, right." Robbie's shoulders relaxed. "The storm." As I squeezed past Sasha, she tossed her hair back and focused on Scott again. "Anyway, they don't just arbitrarily hand out $20,000. Leaning on her armrest, she perched her chin in her fist. Like the mere concept of Scott winning anything was utterly fascinating. Like, Robbie has baseball, Amber's a music prodigy, and I'm the director of the drama club. There has to be some reason you won." "Yeah?" Scott's lips slapped with each chew. "Well, I'm director of the Give Zero Fucks Club. Maybe that counts for something." Guys?" I jiggled the doorknob. It turned in my grip, but the door wouldn't budge. "I think the door's stuck." "Seriously?" Priya glared at me, like being trapped in a room together was her version of hell. "You're just a little weakling." Robbie strutted over and gave me a playful shove. "I am not," I muttered, returning to my seat. I fished my cell phone from my purse. No signal. As Robbie fought with the door, I scanned the table. Diego was the only one not looking at his phone. He stared out one of the windows as lightning brightened the alley outside. Robbie cursed and gave the doorknob a final shake. "Damn it, it really is stuck." I rolled my eyes. "Told you." "Shit." Sasha waved her phone above her head. "I have no signal." "Me neither," I said. "I haven't had one since we got here." Robbie took out his phone and shook it, like that would help. "Same here," Priya chimed in. "Well, the mayor's gonna show up at some point, right?" asked Diego. "Yep," I nodded. "He'll be able to let us out, or get help, or whatever." "Shouldn't he be here by now?" Sasha checked her watch. "He's probably just running late," said Diego. Sasha eyed Robbie, who slammed his fist against the lock and jiggled the doorknob again. "But what if he had to cancel?" Her voice quavered. "What if he tried calling us to let us know, but couldn't get through? What if no one's coming?" "Sasha, chill out," I said. Diego trained his eyes along the table with a frown. "If he couldn't get through," said Scott, "his office would send some secretary here to tell us, right?" "Huh, weird," said Diego. "The table's set for 6. Priya pointed at each place setting as she silently counted. Diego was right. There were 8 chairs, but the ones on either end had no place settings, plates, or glasses laid out. "Yeah? So?" said Scott. Diego and I exchanged a look. "That's bizarre," I said. "If the mayor's having dinner with us, why is the table only set for 6? "Are you saying nobody's coming to let us out?" Sasha said, an octave too high. "Someone will be here to serve food and stuff," said Scott. "A waiter or something?" "It looks like they already did." Diego motioned to the covered trays lining the table. But why would they serve dinner before we got here? Scott lifted the lid on the tray closest to him, revealing a whole roasted chicken and steamed veggies. Is it just me, or is this kind of weird? For once, it's not just you, Robbie muttered, uncovering a salad platter. Well, Priya licked her lips, eyeing a bowl of roasted yams. We might as well eat, right? I guess so, I bit my lip. Robbie dropped the lid on the floor behind him. Whatever. Let's get this party started, shall we? He uncovered another chicken platter. They got any booze in this joint? Yeah, but it's all at the bar out there, said Sasha, uncovering a platter of deviled eggs. Gross. How long have these been sitting here? I stood and lifted the lid from the biggest platter in the center of the table. Sasha and Priya both shrieked, making me almost drop the lid. My heart fell into my stomach as everyone gaped at the contents of the tray. A syringe, an envelope, and something that looked an awful lot like a bomb. So that is from the first chapter of All Your Twisted Secrets by Diana Urban. It's a thriller. It's a locked room mystery where these kind of Breakfast Club-inspired characters all have to make some tough choices about whether they're going to band together or against each other to get out of this locked room. Definitely suggest you check it out. And again, it is 20% off on our site right now. So the link will be in our bio. And as well, Diana Urban is running her own virtual launch this evening over on Twitter. So follow her on @DianaUrban. And at 7 p.m. she'll be doing an Ask Me Anything, and my guess is she's got some other things planned as well. So thank you for tuning in today, and I hope you read this book because it's really good. Have a good night, everyone.